find ourselves in a nice seated position here. We can
Okay.
sit cross-legged with our left foot on our right inner thigh and our right foot on our left outer shin. Softening our gaze or maybe closing our eyes. Drawing those shoulders down and away from the ears. And just taking a few moments here to tune into the body. Noticing any tightnesses, any discomfort, without judgment, just bringing some awareness today. Keeping length through the spine, sitting nice and tall. And just tuning into the breath, tuning into the heart rate, tuning into our mindset today. And tuning in with our intentions for today. How do we want to show up? What would make today the best day ever? Taking a deep breath in through the nose and exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more here, in, filling the abdominals, the diaphragm, into the chest. And exhale, let it all go. With those hands on our knees, we're going to use our hands as an anchor for support as we go into some circles here. So we're going to take our chest and swoop down towards one knee, swoop all the way across and into the other direction. So it doesn't matter which way we start here. I'm personally starting with going to the left, swooping across to the right. We're going to do 3 in one direction, and then we're going to switch directions here, trying to create as much movement through the back, through the spine, and just exploring your body, seeing if there's any areas that are feeling a little tender this morning. After 3, we're going to swoop in the other direction, noticing how this changes the feeling of this movement, breathing through it. And on our last one, we're going to find ourselves in this folded position here. I'll give you a side profile. Keeping those sit bones planted into your mat, we're going to take our hands and walk them out as far as we can. I really want you to think about initiating a stretch in the side lats here as you're reaching, and then allow your chest to slightly relax and then gently rest your head down. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths here. With every exhalation, seeing if you can go just a little bit deeper. Last one here. And after your last exhale, start to walk your hands towards your left side. So you're going to walk them out as far as you can. Again, we're going to be thinking of that stretch in the side right lat here. Seeing if we can bring our chest and head to meet that left knee. Should feel a nice generous stretch in that right glute, maybe into that right lower back. And we're just going to take a second here and focus on 3 deep breaths. For your last exhale, slowly begin to walk your hands back to center, keeping your chest nice and low. And then I want you to imagine you're like a cat kneading the bread as you raise yourself up vertebrae by vertebrae, drawing those shoulders back and down the spine until we're completely seated upright, finding length through the spine. And then we're going to switch our feet. So we're going to take our right foot this time on the inside of our left inner thigh. Left foot's coming on the outside of that right outer shin. All right. So from this position here, we are going to take our hands onto our knees. And we're gonna do the same thing again, dropping our chest, swooping across. Doesn't matter which way we start with. We're gonna do 3 in one direction. And after 3, we're gonna switch. Breathing through it. Bringing awareness to the body, noticing if one side might be tighter than the other. And then after 3, we're going to find ourselves into that folded position, taking our hands, walking them out in front of us, and trying to reach as far as we can here. Allowing that chest to drop, lengthening through the side lats, and then resting our head. We are here for 3 deep breaths. Then after your last exhale, slowly begin to walk your hands out towards the right side this time. Seeing how far you can walk out, and then allow your chest and head to rest here. 3 deep breaths. After your last exhale, slowly begin to walk your hands back to center, keeping that chest nice and low. And then imagine you're a cat kneading the bread as you slowly rise, vertebrae by vertebrae, finding ourselves upright, sitting nice and tall. Now, again, if this cross-legged position doesn't feel good for you, you can switch for the other side here. We're going to stay seated, or if that's still not feeling good, then we can just go for the legs extended, or we can go for a kneeling position with those toes tucked underneath us, get a nice little stretch in the feet as well. And then we're just going to check out the neck. Now, again, I'm still very much injured, so my range of motion is not going to be great, but we're going to start with some chin tucks and then looking up towards the sky. So taking a deep breath in. Exhale to tuck the chin into your chest, whatever feels good for your practice today. And then inhale, looking up towards the sky. Exhale, tuck the chin. Inhale, looking up towards the sky. One more here. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, looking up to the sky. And then we're going to continue with this, but we're going to add a little bit of seated cat-cow here. So as we tuck our chin, we're going to press through our shoulder blades, round through the upper back as best as we can. And then inhale, as we look up towards the sky, I want you to think of arching your back and lengthening through your abdominals. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. 2 more here at your own pace. And then we're going to find ourselves in that seated position. And we're going to go through a few half circles here. So tucking that chin into our chest, we're going to draw our right ear to our right shoulder. Inhale as you draw your chin back into your chest. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And we're just going to go through this motion at your own pace here, exploring the neck and the traps. Noticing if one side might be feeling tighter than the other without judgment, just bringing some awareness and maybe giving that tighter side a little extra love, maybe a little longer hold. And then if this feels good for your practice today, maybe going for some full circles here, bringing the head all the way around. Maybe switching directions if we're going for the full circles. Finding ourselves into a neutral position here. We're going to bring our fingertips together, pinching our fingers, and then we're going to place them onto our shoulders. And we're going to draw 5 big circles with our elbows in one direction and then 5 in the other. So it doesn't matter which one we start with here. Feel any cracks or pops. Getting some mobility going in the shoulders. Breathing through it. After 5, switch directions. And after we finish 5 in the other direction, we're going to find ourselves into a tabletop position. Stacking those hands directly underneath our shoulders, spreading our fingers nice and wide. Knees are stacked underneath the hips and toes are flexed down into our mat. We're going to go through a few rounds of cat-cow here, taking a deep breath in. Exhale to tuck the tailbone, tuck the chin, and press through those shoulder blades, creating as much stretch and length as we can here. And then inhale, arch the spine, focusing on lengthening through the abdominals. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. One more here. Exhale, round, and try to create as much of a stretch here as you can. And then inhale, arch. Lengthening through those abdominals as best as you can. And then finding ourselves into a neutral spine position. We're going to turn those fingers to face our knee, maybe coming closer towards the knee if that feels pretty intense. Flatten the tops of our feet. And then we're going to sit our hips back towards the heels as we exhale, keeping those palms planted down into our mats, feeling a nice stretch in our wrists. Inhale to release. Exhale to repeat. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more here at your own pace. Slowly begin to release after your last one. Raising your hips up. Tuck your toes underneath you. Sit your hips back to get a nice stretch in the feet. And then take your wrists out in front of you and just do a few circles here. Maybe a few wrist flexions, extensions. And then we're going to check out the other side, placing the tops of our hands onto the mat this time, flattening the tops of our feet, taking a deep breath in. Exhale to sit the hips back, maybe curling our fingers in towards our palm to intensify this stretch. Inhale to release. Exhale to repeat. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more here. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly begin to release. sitting those hips up, tucking our toes, sitting the hips back onto the heels, going through a few wrist circles, maybe flexion and extensions. And then we're going to find ourselves onto our bellies. We're going to take our right arm off to the side. Now, if we're feeling tight in the bicep, we can keep the hand relative to the shoulder. If we're feeling a little bit tighter in the chest, we might want to walk that hand above the shoulder towards your head level, or you can even cactus the arm. So finding that 90-degree bend at the elbow. Left hand is going to come underneath that left shoulder, and then you're going to press from that left hand as you rotate and drive your right shoulder down into the ground and looking over your left shoulder. Holding for a second here. Inhale to release. Exhale to repeat. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more here. Inhale. Exhale. Last one here. Inhale. And on your last one, exhale and hold for 3 deep breaths. On your last exhale, slowly release. Draw that right hand underneath your shoulder this time, extending that left arm out to the side. Big breath in, pressing through the right hand this time, driving that left shoulder down into the ground and looking over your right shoulder. Inhale to release. Exhale to repeat. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more here. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale, holding for 5 deep breaths. On your last exhale, slowly, slowly begin to release and draw both those arms underneath your forehead. Resting your head onto your forearms. Taking a moment here to just tune into the body, tune into the breath, tune into the heart rate, tuning into our mindset. And we're going to roll onto our left side here. We're going to draw our knees in towards our chest. We're going to bring our palms out in front of us, bringing the palms together. Maybe we're hovering our head. Maybe we've got a yoga block or a pillow that we can rest on here. Or maybe we're resting it right onto the ground. Whatever feels good for you here. I'm going to hover. With my palms together, my top right hand is going to reach past my left hand. And then I'm going to draw a rainbow over my head, trying to keep my fingertips touching the ground the whole time if I can. And then as I rotate, bringing my right shoulder blade onto the ground, opening up the chest, and then close the book. We're going to go do this 3 times here. Fire ants. And on our last one, we're going to hold it nice and open for 3 deep breaths. On our last exhale, we're going to close the book. Staying on our left side, we can either support the head with that left arm or left hand here, keeping the head propped up, or we could drop the head and rest it onto our bicep. So whatever feels good for you. We're gonna take that top hand and grab that top foot. If we can't reach, maybe we're using a yoga strap or a towel to wrap around the foot to pull it back. And then we're gonna keep that knee nice and low to the ground. So we don't want it pointing up to the sky. Nice and low, keeping the heel as close as you can to the glutes. And then you're gonna gently pull back, feeling a nice lengthening stretch in the front of our quad, holding for about a second or two. Inhale to release. Exhale to repeat. Inhale and exhale. Two more here. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale and hold for 3 deep breaths. After your last exhale, slowly begin to draw that knee forward, release the foot. We're gonna roll onto our bellies and check out the other side. Let's switch for you here. This time, with those knees pulled in, palms together, left hand is gonna reach past that right hand, initiating that stretch in the lats, and then reaching overhead, drawing that rainbow, trying to bring that left shoulder down onto the ground, opening up the chest, and then close the book. Reaching the hand over and around. Taking it at your own pace here. And then closing the book. Last one. And then we're holding here for 3 deep breaths. On your last one, closing the book. Taking the hand to support the head or resting it onto the right bicep this time. Top hand is going to grab that top foot and then gently pulling that knee back as far as you feel comfortable. Noticing if one side may be tighter than the other. Inhale to release. Exhale to repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last one here. Inhale. And exhale, holding this for 3 deep breaths. And on your last exhale, slowly, slowly release. And then we're going to roll onto our back. We're going to keep the soles of our feet on the mat, or we can step them out a little bit wider than our mat, depending on how tight our outer hips are right now. And then we're going to draw our knees in towards center. So find a good foot position where you're getting a nice stretch, but that your knees and thighs are resting on one another to help support the stretch at the same time. Gently begin to draw the knees apart. And then draw the soles of your feet together. Drawing the heels as close as you can towards the groin and allowing your knees to drop to either side, opening up the inner thighs, feeling a nice stretch in the adductors. If we find that the glutes are clenching too much in this position to help support, just slowly, gently draw your heels a little further away from the groin to allow your glutes to relax here. You could also put yoga blocks underneath the knees to help support, to release the glutes as well. And maybe we're placing our hands onto our abdominals to bring some awareness to the rise and fall of our bellies as we breathe in and out. Slowly, slowly begin to draw those knees back into center. Maybe you're assisting with your hands to help draw them back in, keeping the soles of your feet planted, tilting your hips so that your low back is glued down into your mat. We're going to take our right foot, crossing it over our left thigh. We're going to interlace our fingers behind that left hamstring as we draw it into our chest for a figure four here. And we can either stay still, we could move the ankles into circular directions or flexion, whatever feels good for you. Or if you'd like to deepen that stretch in that outer right glute, you can slightly begin to shift your weight over towards that left side. Taking a few moments here to just tune into the breath, bringing awareness to any tension or tightness we may be feeling. And thanking ourselves for showing up to our mats today and giving ourselves a little self-love and care to our hard-working bodies. On your last exhale, gently begin to release, bringing that right foot back down onto the mat and then crossing over your left ankle over your right thigh, interlacing your fingers behind that right hamstring as we pull it into our chest. And again, whatever feels good for your practice. Maybe finding stillness here if that feels good. Maybe doing some circles with the ankle. Or maybe we're slightly shifting our weight over toward that right side, deepening that stretch in that outer left glute. Noticing how this side might be feeling a little bit more different than the other. Maybe we're feeling that tension or tightness in other areas. Maybe it's feeling a little looser or tighter. Just bringing some awareness. And after your last exhale, slowly drawing yourself back to center, releasing the feet onto your mat, tilting your hips so that your low back is glued down into your mat. And depending on how our back is feeling, we could either stay here or we can extend the legs straight out, going into Shavasana. I personally find that my feet in feels a little bit better on my low back, tilting the hips and getting a better contact here. Maybe we're resting our hands onto our abdominals to bring some awareness to the breath. Taking a moment here to tune back in to the body, to the breath, to the heart rate, and to the mindset. Again, reflecting back to our intentions for today. How do we want to show up today? How would the best versions of ourselves show up intentionally today? How do I want to show up? What do I want to do? How can I make today the best day ever? How can we make every day the best day ever? We only really have today. So it's a great way to approach our days and looking and searching for everything that makes today just the coolest day. And in light of Sunday Fun Day, what are we going to do today for fun? How can we play today? How can we ignite our inner child? Is it getting out into the dirt, getting our feet and our hands dirty? Is it maybe doing an art project? Maybe doing some painting, some coloring, some drawing? Maybe we're going to go out for a nice hike or bike ride. Maybe we're going to put on our favorite tunes and have a little dance party. What can you do to prioritize just a little fun today? Bring a little joy into your day. Taking a moment here to tune in to your face muscles. Allow them to gently relax. Tuning in to the jaw and tongue. Allowing yourself to release any tension. Tuning in to the neck and shoulders, the traps. Allowing ourselves to relax the shoulders down into your mat. Tuning in to your arms, the biceps, the triceps, down into your forearms and into the palms and fingertips. Tuning in to your upper back, your mid back, and lower back, pressing down into your mat. Tuning into your chest, tuning into your abdominals, bringing some awareness to the hips and into the glutes. Bringing some awareness to your quads and hamstrings, down into the calves and shins, all the way down into the soles of our feet and toes. We're ready. We're going to find ourselves onto our side. Maybe resting our head onto our bicep. Drawing those knees into our chest. Connecting ourselves with Mother Nature. Imagining roots growing from our fingertips down into the ground. And whenever you're ready, we'll slightly press from that palm grounded onto our mat. Raise ourselves up and find ourselves into a seated position here. Taking a moment here to just tune into the body, tuning into the breath, tuning into our heart rate, tuning into our mindset. Has anything shifted since we started today's practice? How can we create a little bit more space to show up for ourselves today? Bringing our hands to heart center. I want you to start rubbing your hands together, creating that energetic fire. Feel the heat between your palms and your fingers. And then I want you to bring them to your ears, thanking ourselves for all the beautiful sounds we hear throughout the day. The birds chirping, our friends and loved ones' laughter, maybe the dogs wrestling around. Back to heart center. Let's create that energetic fire, rubbing those palms together, and then bringing them to our eyes, thanking ourselves for all that we can see throughout the day. The beautiful colors, beautiful faces, our beautiful animals. Back to heart center. One last time, create as much energetic fire as you can. Arms, your hands, your thighs, your shins, your feet, and thanking our strong bodies for showing up for today's practice. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.